I worked night shifts for years to give my wife the life she wanted. She stayed home, I paid the bills. Then, on my birthday, I discovered she'd been having intimate online relationships with other men while I was at work. I forgave her. She promised it would never happen again. But it did. And when I confronted her, she didn't cry or beg for forgiveness. She started planning our separation like she'd been waiting for this moment. I'm 24 years old. My body is already breaking down from work, and the woman I sacrificed everything for has destroyed our family without a second thought. This is my story. I'm an industrial maintenance technician. I worked extremely hard to get here. I came from nothing. My childhood was rough, filled with things I'm still trying to process. But I fought my way out of that life. I built something I could be proud of. A career, a home, a family. Everything I did for the woman I loved. And she threw it all away.
Let me back up. We've been together for 4 years. Our anniversary is coming up soon. And honestly, I don't even know if we'll make it that far. A few months ago, on my birthday of all days, everything came crashing down. That's what I call D-Day, the day my perception of my life completely shattered. I work night shift, have for years. The schedule is brutal, but the pay is better, and we needed the money. My sleep is terrible. My body is already worn out at 24 years old. But I kept pushing because I thought I was building something worth the sacrifice. I thought I was providing for a family that appreciated what I was doing. My wife basically refuses to work, and honestly, I was fine with that. I actually prefer traditional household roles. It just works better in my mind. One person focuses on earning, the other focuses on the home. It makes sense. So when she wanted to stay home, I supported that decision completely.
Then she wanted to have children. I wasn't sure at first, but she really wanted it, so I came around to the idea. We had a beautiful baby girl. She's a little over a year old now, and she's absolutely everything to me. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I would do anything for that little girl. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I have my faults. I know that. But I've always tried to be a good partner and a good father. When we first got our place together, we both worked, but then we transitioned to our current arrangement. She stayed home, I worked, and that's when things started to fall apart, though I didn't see it at the time.
She just sat home and watched TV 90% of the time. The other 10% was split between me basically begging her to do the bare minimum around the house and her finally doing what I asked until the smallest difficulty presented itself. Then she'd freak out and jump back into bed. The house was always a mess. Dishes piled up, laundry everywhere, our daughter's things scattered around. There were highs and lows, but I'm fiercely loyal, maybe too loyal. I grew up around violence. I saw things no child should see. That made me hyper-reactive to conflict. I hate arguing. I hate raised voices. I hate tension. So I was always the one willing to understand, to compromise, to make peace. But I'm not a pushover. I've always expressed how important communication is. I never raise my voice. I never get physical. I try to handle everything calmly and rationally.
Then D-Day happened, my birthday. The day that should have been about celebration became the day my world fell apart. I discovered that while she was home playing video games all day, she was also having intimate online interactions with other men, multiple men. While I was at work, breaking my back to support our family, she was getting attention and validation from strangers on the internet. I was disturbed. I was destroyed. My heart completely sank when I found out. The woman I loved, the mother of my child, the person I'd sacrificed everything for, had betrayed me in the worst possible way. And for what? For some online attention from men who didn't even know her real life?
She mentioned there had been an incident before this. I didn't even want to hear the details. I was so desperate to keep our family together that I just told her I forgave her. I told her if it happened again, it was over. That was the line. One more chance, and that's it. I thought that was fair. I thought I was being understanding and giving our marriage a real shot at recovery. I suppose I'm just a fool, because it happened again. Of course it did. And when I found out, when I confronted her about breaking her promise, her reaction was nothing like what I expected. She didn't cry. She didn't beg for forgiveness. She didn't seem remorseful at all. Instead, she immediately started chomping at the bit to separate our belongings. She was working out custody schedules. She was planning her exit like she'd been waiting for an excuse to leave.
I couldn't stand the idea of splitting up my family. I have childhood issues related to abandonment, deep, painful issues that have shaped who I am. I thought I'd built a life that was incapable of going through that kind of pain again. I was wrong, so incredibly wrong. Everything hit the fan in the most unsettling fashion. While I was still trying to process what was happening, still trying to understand how my perception of our good life had been completely shattered, she was already mentally checked out. She wasn't thinking about how this would affect our daughter. She wasn't thinking about the family we'd built. She was thinking about herself and her new freedom. She left for her mom's house and took our daughter with her, just packed up and left. I had to get to work a few hours later with absolutely no sleep. I was running on pure adrenaline and devastation. Before I left for work, I gave the keys to my gun safe to my boss. My work crew was the closest thing I have to friends, and my boss knew exactly what I was dealing with. He understood why I needed someone else to hold those keys that night. When I got home from work the next morning, the true realization hit me like a truck. My beautiful daughter wasn't in the living room waiting to see me like she always was. Her play area was completely empty. All her things were gone. The house felt dead, cold, empty in a way that had nothing to do with furniture. It absolutely broke me. I'm not ashamed to say it. I sobbed like a baby for hours. I prayed, I begged God for some kind of answer, some kind of relief from this pain. That was the worst week of my entire life, and I've been through a lot. I've survived things that would break most people. But this almost made me tap out. This almost made me give up on everything. She finally came home after that terrible week, but she wasn't as affected as me, not even close. In fact, she was savoring all the attention she was getting from her online friends, her gaming buddies. The same people she'd betrayed me with were now comforting her and telling her she deserved better, and she was eating it up. I resent her for not only doing what she did, but for how I was the one who suffered for her actions. I was the one who couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't function. I was the one whose heart was shattered into a million pieces, and she was fine. She was getting validation and support from strangers who had no stake in our family, our child, or our future. I'm 24 years old. My body is already worn out from working the way I have. My sleep schedule is completely destroyed. My mental health is hanging by a thread. And now I'm constantly walking on eggshells, trying to maintain some image of a happy family for my daughter's sake. I'm trying to pretend everything is fine, when nothing is fine. I honestly don't know what to do sometimes. Part of me feels like a coward for not sticking to my guns and throwing her out, for not following through on my ultimatum, for letting her disrespect me and our family without real consequences. But the other part of me is fully aware that kicking her out means I'm basically throwing out my baby girl too, and I absolutely can never do that. I can't be the reason my daughter grows up in a broken home. I can't be the one who splits up her parents. So here I am, trapped between self-respect and fatherhood, between protecting myself and protecting my daughter from the pain of a broken family, between standing up for myself and keeping the peace for a 1-year-old who deserves better than any of this. I sacrificed my body, my sleep, my youth, my health, all so she could have the life she wanted, a life where she didn't have to work, where she could stay home with our daughter, where she didn't have to worry about bills or money or anything stressful. And while I was grinding myself into the ground to provide that life, she was seeking attention and intimacy from other men, men who contributed nothing, men who didn't know her struggles because she didn't have any real struggles. Her life was easy because I made it easy. And the worst part? She doesn't seem to feel guilty. She doesn't seem to understand the magnitude of what she's done. She's more concerned with her online relationships and her social media presence than with the family she's destroying. She's more interested in the validation from strangers than in fixing what she broke with the man who gave her everything. I keep thinking about my daughter, about what kind of example we're setting for her, about what she'll think when she's old enough to understand what happened. Will she think it's normal for people to treat each other this way? Will she think it's acceptable to betray someone who loves you? Will she grow up thinking that's what relationships look like? I also think about myself, about the man I used to be before this happened. I was confident. I was strong. I had overcome so much to get where I am. And now I feel like a shell of that person, like she took something fundamental from me that I'll never get back. My ability to trust. My belief that hard work and loyalty mean something. My hope that doing the right thing actually matters.
Every night when I leave for work, I wonder what she's doing, who she's talking to, whether she's being faithful or whether she's back to her old patterns. And that's no way to live. That's not a marriage. That's a prison where I'm both the guard and the inmate. But what are my options? Leave her and see my daughter on weekends? Watch some other man help raise my child? Miss out on the daily moments that make fatherhood worth all the sacrifice? Or stay and continue to be disrespected and betrayed while pretending everything is fine? I don't have the answer. I'm posting this because I need to get it out. I need someone to understand what I'm going through. I need to know I'm not crazy for feeling this way. I need validation that my pain is real and justified, even if I can't bring myself to take action yet.
If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below and tell me what you would do in my situation. Would you stay for your child? Would you leave to protect your self-respect? Have you been in a similar situation where you had to choose between your own well-being and keeping your family together? We share real stories like this every week. Stories about betrayal, difficult choices, and the complicated reality of modern relationships. If you want to see more content like this, visit our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, you're not alone in your struggles. Whatever you're going through, there are others who understand. There are others who've been where you are. And sometimes just knowing that can make all the difference. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.